Good morning, everyone. It's Christophe Choo from Coldwell Banker Global Luxury here in beautiful Beverly Hills. And I'm sitting here with Yucels, a recent past client. And we just recently closed escrow on their stunning home in Bel Air on Stone Canyon Road. Many of you have probably saw it on the NBC open house show a couple of months ago. And I'm so appreciative of Simla coming in today to talk a little bit about her experience with us, working with us in the sale of her home. So I thought I would ask a couple questions about how the process went, etc. And essentially, Simla and her husband had been on the market with their home about 5 months before.
That's correct.
Right, with another broker. And things didn't quite work out. And they contacted us, and they had lots of choices of agents to choose, right? You probably met quite a few.
Yes, we did.
Some of the top ones in LA. And thank gosh, they chose me, which I was very happy with. And took a little bit of work on both of our parts, and all of our parts actually. A little bit of a bumpy road, as many times can be in an escrow. But we got the job done, the house sold, and it closed, which is great. And now they're living in their new home in Santa Monica. Are you excited about that?
Yes, very excited. We're very happy there.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate you being here today. I know you're busy with the kids and summer and the new house. And so I just wanted to kind of ask you, you know, it's always a challenging process to sell a home. And I think this was the first or second time you'd sold a home.
I think this was our third time.
Third time, okay, got it. So you have a little bit of past experience in that. What were some of the fears that you may have had in selling your home?
I think the biggest fear is the size of this house, and the price of this house was in the high market, and I think we heard that it's harder to sell these houses in this price range, that I was worried it would take too long to sell. That was my biggest fear.
So your biggest fear was worried about how long it would take to sell the house?
Yes.
Yeah, because I know you wanted to be in a different school district, closer for the kids and not having to commute every day. So the fear was the time involved in selling the house.
Yes.
And it did take a little bit longer than we would have liked, but that's typical of this particular price range. The house sold for almost $8 million in the Bel Air area, and the $5 to $10 million range in Bel Air was a little bit slow the last 8 months. So it's interesting because I don't often hear the fear of the length of time on the market. So it's interesting. Did we handle your concerns or those specific fears during the process?
Yes, I think from the beginning when we discussed with you the sale of our house, you told us that it may take a while in this price range in this market. So we were aware of it. I was just anxious to move because I didn't want to make the drive still to Santa Monica, and you know, I was really excited to move on. But we were aware of it, and we just went with the process.
Good. So was that helpful to you to have a background of kind of what's going on in the market to know it could take 5, 6, 7 months?
Information you sent us, the videos you made, and the emails you sent us to the reports, what was going on. So it made us aware, okay, it's not just our house. And at the time in Bel Air, there weren't many houses being sold. So being aware of that helped us and kind of calm my fears about it will sell at the right time to the right family, which it did.
I remember saying to you sometimes, don't worry, just let it happen, it's going to happen. Yeah, because you were nervous a few times.
Yes.
So the weekly updates and the phone calls and of what's going on in the market was very helpful.
Yes, you're very informative, and you held our hand throughout the whole process, which taught me a lot about this, you know, the process of selling.
Got it.
So I was very happy about that.
Yeah, because I remember there was a time, I think it was in end of December, end of November, there were 15 homes on the market right in your neighborhood from 5 to 10 million, which was a lot of competition. But it's okay, we blew them out of the water, we sold. A lot of them are still selling, are still trying to sell. So that's good. So having had a past experience with another agent that didn't sell, and then interviewing other agents for the new listing, which thank gosh we got, what process did you use to select me?
Well, first of all, the videos that you did on YouTube, when I told my husband about you, because I heard your name from another agent, which is out of California, but she gave me your name and she said he's the one to go to sell this house.
That's good.
So I told my husband, Christophe, he says, I know him, I've watched almost all of his videos. That kind of made the big match. He knows the area very well, he's been selling here, and he's very knowledgeable, he has years of experience. And when I heard from Cindy that you are the person to go, that's when we decided to call
Had you heard of me before the agent referred me to you?
Yes.
You did, okay, you had heard of me. And then your husband separately knew about me?
My husband knew because he watches everything on, you know, YouTube and about decoration and real estate and everything, he knew you very, very well.
Yeah, and it's true. Over the years, I've done quite a few videos about Stone Canyon and Bel Air. So
just the Stone Canyon and Bel Air, Holmby Hills,
Okay, so it was nice to already know me. Your husband knew me, or knew of me, and then to have a referral. So that was helpful. Was there anything else in the process? Because I know you were interviewing several agents because we met. You were meeting other agents, and then we had another conversation. You finally decided to hire me as your agent. What else was in that process of making that decision?
I think when we first met you, you gave us a good picture of how much our house was worth and how the process would go. I think you were very informative and educational about how we should do it. And I think we were very impressed with your presentation skills, your online media, and everything that you use. It was just very impressive.
Well, good. So you had the knowledge of me before, the referral. Your husband knew me. Then my presentation was thorough, so you knew the time frame. You know what we were going to do, how we would do it, and what would we take.
Yes.
Great. Okay, that's wonderful. And what did I do differently than the other one that made a difference for you in selling the house?
Most of the agents, big agents, let me say, they will just say okay to whatever price you say or whatever you wanna. This is my house. They just to get the listing. I guess they'll say, oh, okay, it's worth 15 million, it's worth 20 million. That's fine. They'll take the listing and then they'll push you to drop the price. That didn't happen with you. You were very realistic, and we kept the numbers realistic all along, and you really got us the best deal. Right.
It's interesting, because when you first listed, I remember you told me about the conversation. You guys had a certain price in mind. But the other broker wanted to list it for 20-some% above what you guys thought it was worth. And of course, as a seller, who wouldn't want to try to sell it for 20% more? I would too. I mean, especially if you don't know the business, you don't know the comps. If someone just says, oh, you think it's worth 10 million, so it says it's 12.5 million, of course you're going to list it for 12.5. I would do the same thing. So it's interesting, and it's true. When we did sit down, I remember your husband was not happy with my price because we had made a pretty substantial reduction recently. You had it before, and I wanted to make another substantial reduction, and he was not ready for that. We made a slight adjustment on the initial price.
I think that was also great to see you go along with our process of, we had to live through it. If we sold the house back in December for the price we sold it in May, I think my husband would be very unhappy. But he lived the process, and he understood that as the right price. So that helped us emotionally to
Right, because I think you and I both knew that was the right price.
Yes.
Which is where we actually sold it for, but the husband wasn't quite convinced at the time. So, and that's part of the process. Sometimes you have 2 or 3 different people that own a property and have different ideas. So we discussed the reality. We tried it at your price, and because I was able to communicate with you consistently with what's going on in the market, what the feedback is from the showing, because at one point I think we had 26 or 27 showings, and we hadn't sold the house yet. And again, once we finally made the adjustment on the price, the first day in the market, multiple offers, and it sold for over asking price. I mean, months and months didn't sell, but once the price was right, it sold. So interesting. So I was honest with you, and even though we didn't list at that price, you understood it, and we went through the process, and it was a number of months
ended up at that number.
Where finally your husband got it, and we reduced the price, and we got the number, and we sold it. Great. And how did we handle the whole process for you? Was it easy? Was it comfortable? How did we handle that process?
It was very easy and professional, especially during the showings and open houses. You and your team made me feel very comfortable, and everybody was very thankful that the house was always ready. I felt good about it, that everybody thinks that we're leaving the house nice and clean. So it seemed like the entire process was very professional.
Wonderful. Anything we could have done differently to make it a little bit easier or better or smoother for you?
I don't think so.
No, good. I like that. I always like that part of the feedback, because that's something I can improve upon. You know what I mean?
No, I think everything was really perfect. I mean, I would go with you again.
Thank you. And one of the hard parts about being a seller, when you're selling your home and you live there, and in her case, she has her husband, she has her 2 children, she had the 2 dogs, and the housekeeper, and the maintenance of the house, and her life and her business and the schools. It's a lot to deal with, so you have to be very understanding of someone's home environment and respectful of that. But we really worked well together, and I kind of, at the end of a closing, I kind of have withdrawal, because we were on the phone and talking 10 times a day sometimes, and seeing each other, and then all of a sudden, the valve was shut off because the deal's closed, they moved on, and it's like, what happened?
I felt the same.
And why would you recommend me to your friends and family?
because of who you are and how you do your job, that you're great. Everything you do in this business is great.
Wonderful. Well, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, anyone who's going to sell their house or buy, I would highly recommend you.
Well, I certainly appreciate that. And to think we didn't know each other 9 months ago, and now we know each other quite well, and we're going to be longtime friends. We had our celebration dinner at Mr. Choo. It was nice to finally celebrate the closing, right?
Yes, and meet your lovely wife.
And your new home as well.
Yeah.
Well, I so appreciate you coming in today, Simla. It's very kind of you to share your experiences and to be a client of mine. It was really wonderful, and I know we'll be friends forever. And I appreciate you and your husband and your family, and thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. And if you're looking to sell a home here in Los Angeles, whether it's big or small or in between, we're here to help you. Thanks.